Today, guys, we're going to talk how to divide with models. So we're going to start looking at two-digit divisors, but we're going to use a model to do that. And the model is more for you to get an idea of how it works. It's not necessarily something that you're going to use all the time. So we're going to start with this, okay? You can see the lines in there. And this. And this. These should look familiar, right? These are ones blocks. It takes 10 ones to make a tens block. And it takes 10 tens to make a hundreds block. So there's 100 ones in here, 10 ones in here, and 1 1. Okay? So we can use these to help us model division by making numbers out of our place value blocks and then splitting them apart, which is something you've probably done in the past, but probably not with two-digit divisors. So I'm just going to put that down for a second. Also, we're going to look at something like 165 divided by 15. Okay, so we're going to say 165 divided by 15. So that means I either need to split it into 15 groups or I'm going to split it into groups of 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 165 and we're going to split it into groups of 15. So I'm going to take my blocks and split my blocks into groups of 15. So I'm going to first make my number. I have 100, so I'm going to use a square to represent a hundreds block. Now remember, in your hundreds block, you have 10 rows of 10, okay? So really, my hundreds block is made up of 10 rows of 10, and that's going to be important to remember. 160, so I'm going to make a line, 6 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to represent my tens block, okay? So I have 6 tens. And then just to save myself some time, instead of making little tiny squares, I'm just going to make a dot to represent my ones block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 165, and I want to split them into groups of 15. So what I can do here is if I take this hundreds block, right, and I remember that this hundreds block has 10 rows of 10 in it. So actually, I have 10 rows of 10, and I want to make rows of 15. So these blocks are 10 long. So I can take one of these blocks and lay it across the bottom, and it will add one block to each row of 10. So can you guys see that? It'll add one block to each row of 10. So now my rows of 10 are, I have rows of 11. I have 10 rows of 11. I have 10 rows of 12. I have 10 rows of 13. I have 10 rows of 14. And I have 10 rows of 15. So by taking these tens blocks and lining them up underneath the hundreds grid, I have made them, instead of rows of 10, I've made them rows of 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So now I have 10 rows of 15. Okay? Well, that means I've used this. I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, and I have 15 left over. I have a 10 block and a 15. Well, I put my 10 block next to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've made another row of 15. So that means I have 11 rows of 15 because there's 10 rows in the hundreds block, and then there's one additional row here. Okay? I could look at this problem a different way. I could have done 165 and divided it by 11, okay? So I can make groups of 11, so I still have 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to start out again with 10 rows of 10 are inside my hundreds block. I need rows of 11, so I'm going to take one of these, I'm going to turn it sideways. I'm going to make each of those 11 blocks long. And then I have one, I'm going to use one of these, make another row of 11, this and this, I'm going to make another row of 11, this and one of those and make another row of 11, this and one of those and make another row of 11, and the last one, and the last one makes another row of 11. So I have 10 rows of 11 here, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's going to equal 15 this time around, which should make sense because if this one equals 11 and we switch what we're dividing by, that equals 15. Okay? We could try it with something a little bit more complicated, perhaps. Let's do 182 divided by 13. 182 divided by 13. So I got 100. Whoops, that doesn't look like a square. I have 100. I have 8 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have 2 ones. And I want to divide them into groups of 13. So again, I'm going to start with my hundreds block. I have 10 rows of 10. I need to have rows that are 13 long. So I'm going to take 3 of those 10s and lay them this way so that each row is 13 long. I have 1, 2, 3. I've used those up. So now I need to make more rows that are 13 long. So I'm going to take this one and put it here. And I need 3 ones to make it 13 long, but I only have 2 ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these 10s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to turn it into ones that I can use. So now I can take 3 of those, put them underneath here. I'm going to take another 10 and another 3 ones and put it under here. Take another 10 and another 3 ones and put them under here. And another 10 and another 3 ones and put them under here. Okay? And so what I end up with is I end up with 10 rows of 10 here. Okay? And so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I end up with 14 rows of 13.